Hi guys, so this video is going to be a bit of a review and a guide on how to fit a car battery. To give some context, I recently purchased this car after mine got written off. It's a 2011 Mercedes-Benz C-Class with the AMG package. I've had it for a few weeks now and absolutely love it. However, as the weather is getting colder here in England, I've noticed it's starting to struggle to turn on. And the last thing I want is to be stranded somewhere when the battery fails, or to be rescued or have to abandon the car and run to Halfords. Annoyingly, this happened to my Golf last winter and had to walk to Halfords and buy a battery and fit it street side to get it going again. So I wanted to tackle it now and get the battery. I did what most of us would do and go on the Halfords website, popped in the reg to see what comes up. Unsurprisingly, the Halfords branded battery was £222 with fitting, which is quite a lot of money. I then did the second thing I could think of and gone to Euro Car Parts to see what they could offer me. Again, popped into reg and searched for a battery. A few more options came up. Now I know my car has stop-start technology and want to get a battery that will be able to handle that. So you have to ignore the cheap ones and find one that says AGM or stop-start. Not that I actually care to use the stop-start itself, but it's just worth having. I found that Bosch sold a battery for £219 and Varta at £291. Both are made in the same factory and pretty much the same thing, but are still quite pricey. I wanted to see what other options I had and did some research and found a place called Tayna that are based in Wales. Also an Albanian female rapper apparently, but back to the batteries. Now this isn't a sponsored video obviously, but I just wanted to bring to people's attention that you shouldn't always settle with the first place that you know like I would have done, and actually just look around as you may find a better deal elsewhere. I hopped onto the Tayna website. Now if you're a motoring expert you might want to search by vehicle brand, however I'll stick to searching by the reg. What's quite good is they have a little check that's quite thorough to ensure that you're looking at the right battery, which I was. And I found the same Varta and Bosch battery but incredibly cheaper. Now my first question was like, how? Is this some sort of scam or is it second hand? I read a lot of reviews and only saw this one that said it was all stock, which is fair to be upset about, but still having 4 stars is pretty good, and there were a lot of 5-star reviews, so I thought let's just go with it and see what happens. So I got a confirmation of the order, and believe it or not, the very next day the courier arrived with the battery. Now, with the world's dullest knife, I attempt to open the box. I was pleasantly surprised to see some bubble wrap and protection for the battery. The bubble wrap was super dense, which is good, as you know it's been safely handled. I got the battery out and it looked pretty new to me, so far so good. Time to get the hood opened. Mine needs an extra tug to get it opened. Now when it comes to battery placement, every car is different, so it's best to check your owner's manual or Google, although some cars' batteries aren't actually hidden so they're easier to spot. Mine's under this plastic cover. One thing that I love about this car is how far the hood can be pushed back. It just makes working on the engine bay a lot easier. Simply pop open the 3 tabs and it comes away. Of course the middle tab is broken. And there you are. I'm pretty sure that's the original battery, so it's done really well to say it's from 2011. Now I pinched these gloves that are a little bit small for me, but it's better to be safe than sorry. You also need a socket and ratchet set with an extension bit to be able to reach down to undo the clamp. The socket sizes may vary based on the car, so it's easier with a set, but it's generally a 10mm and a 13mm that you may need. In the interest of time, I'm going to speed up parts of this video just so you don't spend the next 30 minutes watching me struggle. I went to undo the clamp, loosen the screw with the socket. A magnetic set would be really handy in this situation, especially when putting it back in, as it's a really tight gap, but you can come up with other solutions like you'll see that I do. Now you've got to loosen the terminals. The golden rule is negative and then positive to remove the battery, and when you're putting it back on, do the reverse, so positive and then negative. Make sure to do this and also to keep the terminals away from the battery. I used the little covers that came with the new battery to keep them away, and it made the job a lot easier. And don't forget to remove the screw and clamp before lifting out the battery. The battery is pretty heavy, so do be careful. Sometimes it needs a bit of wiggling around the cables and pipes. Now when it comes to installing a new battery, the terminals can get in the way, so what I did was find a way to hold them back. A phone charger was used to hold back the positive terminal and the negative one was tucked behind a pipe. It just makes it easier, especially when you're doing it on your own. This car is quite fiddly, my Golf was a lot easier. Now not all batteries and cars have this, but mine also has a vent tube connected to the battery, and I forgot to connect that before getting it into place. It sped up, but it took me a good 5 minutes trying to get that bastard in, so make sure to do that first, unlike me. My genius solution to the screw was to use blue tack to help it stay in the socket. It was really secure and I tested it before shoving it down there. The socket I used was missing the right size for the clamp screw, which didn't help my situation as it was a little bit too big. Luckily the blue tack worked perfectly. Just remember to pull the blue tack off afterwards. Now for the terminals, make sure that you're ready to go and that they're going to connect fine, and then start with the positive, push it down and make it secure. And then do the same with the negative. It may give a little spark when it touches the battery. This is perfectly normal, so don't worry, but this is why I feel safer with gloves on. It's always worth checking before you do anything that it's going to work, so just go and try and switch on the car and make sure it turns on okay. I did struggle getting the key out of my pocket with the gloves on, but as you can see, as the key turned, the car started instantly. This was not the case before, but I'd say this is pretty successful. I also found that a previous owner had dropped this red terminal cover down the engine bay, so I did also grab that and put it back in its proper place. And the last thing to do now is just put the cover back on. Again, you may not have a cover at all, or you may have a slightly different style of cover, but don't forget to put it back on if you do have one. And also don't forget to remove your tools, gloves and anything else you may have left there before you close your engine cover. I also wanted to do some checks. It's all fine saying it was cheaper for this Mercedes, but is that the case for other cars? So I did the same checks on Halfords, Euro Car Parts and Tayna for my previous Golf and my first car, which was the Mini 1. And in both checks, Tayna again came out cheaper compared to the two. I also did a random check. Now, as much as I hate the Ford Fiesta, it is a popular car out there, so I wanted to check that. Found a random one on Auto Trader and popped in the reg. Now again, the results came back the same. Tayna was cheaper, however, what was odd is that on Tayna there is a limit of how many cars you can search. This reg then became blocked, despite changing devices, so I had to find another reg and search that instead on my computer, and it worked. Guess it's not an issue for most people with the fact that you're looking for your own car, but it is a little strange that that happens. They do also sell other things like wipers, brake parts and such. No idea what the price of those are like, but for batteries, like I say, I'm really impressed. I hope this video is helpful. I'd give Tayna a solid 10 out of 10 Welsh flags for price, delivery speed and overall value for money. I definitely recommend them over Halfords or anywhere else that's going to charge so much more for the same thing. And to the comment to say it's all stock, to be fair, batteries in Halfords and other shops also sit in a warehouse for ages too, so it's all good. Thanks for watching and I hope you enjoyed that video. Cheers, take care.